Oh boy, is this going to be fun. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the support of my patrons, we're going to be taking an early look at the upcoming Transformers Siege Commander Class Jetfire, or as most of us know him as, none other than Skyfire. Now, when this figure was first revealed to us, it instantly became one of the most anticipated figures in this new Siege line. We've gotten a lot of different Jetfire, Skyfire figures in the past, but none of them have really done that G1 character justice. And this absolutely does, both by way of his alternate mode as well as his robot mode. One thing that's interesting is that a lot of these new Siege figures kind of give like a Cybertronian look to the alternate mode while staying a little bit more faithful to the G1 cartoon look for the robot mode. This guy nails both modes in that G1 aesthetic. Now, obviously, he's got a lot of armor stuff on here because he does have that extra play factor of including all these armor bits and guns to make him kind of look like that Macross looking G1 toy that we got. Taking a look at the jet mode though, you can see very large. As I said, this is a new commander class, which is even bigger than a leader class figure, but it is massive. I mean, you can see like the wingspan is huge on this. I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of different figures for some comparisons. Here we have Brawn. Here we have Ironhide. You can see it in that little video or that little section in the beginning, but I mean, that's how big this guy is. Let's bring in old Optimus Prime. I mean, these are really, wonderfully scaled figures. I mean, you can just see how massive. I mean, I'm really kind of struggling here because of how big the figure is, but I mean, you can see basically how big he is. It's absolutely terrific. I love the size. Another comparison, now we have gotten, like I said, other Jetfires in the past. This is one of the most recent ones, and this is a great figure as well. But you can see, this is a leader class figure. Wow. Now, granted, leader class figures are, a little bit smaller now, but this is still a mind-numbing comparison. And while this has a little bit more of that kind of stylized look for him, and like I said, this is still a terrific figure. This one just gets that look so much better. And just because I still have the Jetfire from the Studio Series line, you can see, I mean, like, both are very long figures, but this guy gets massively more bulky and a lot wider, as you can see by the wingspan. So again, really good size. You can kind of shrink him down when you remove some of his accessories. So you got guns here in the bottom, they just peg in here. You got guns here along the sides. Come around to the other side, take those off, taking a look at those. All of these guns will come into play later on. You can use these for like any of these Siege figures. You can armor up anybody that you want. I mean, all this stuff really kind of separates and then repopulates into different configurations and things like that. So you can have a lot of different fun with all of these. So you get these big giant cannons. You can see some nice matte black. You got some nice silver there. These are just done in the black kind of plastic itself. Set that off to the side. And then you have this giant section right here. This just tabs in. And you can see that a lot of this stuff, like I said, is going to be used for his armored up mode. So on the bottom here, though, is his main kind of Skyfire looking cannon, but it does have some extra features. You can see some nice gray paint. You got a black handle, nice silver here, but it can also split in half. Then you can fold out that handle. This section here rotates around, bringing out that handle, and now you have two giant blasters, which works beautifully. Again, going along with that whole armored up look, you have this, which is going to become the chest piece. You got these little bits right here that can plug on, can turn these into weapons as well. Moving that off to the side. But you can see some really nice paint detail on here. You got some white with the red and black, nice Autobot logo there. You come around to the back, not really anything there. But you can see that he does have his helmet. So this, come on, it's a little bit tricky to get to. Well, maybe I can push it through there. There we go. You can open that up, and there's his Macross visor thing. You have to put that back down. That just fits on his head really nicely, but you can see you got some nice translucent plastic. The whole thing looks like it's translucent, but then you got like white painted on the outer section. So again, I'll show how to attach all of this and armor them all up here in a bit, but I'm just kind of going through some of the accessories. Get these angled up. So now you have the more cartoon look for Jetfire. You got these big giant thruster effects, which I absolutely love these, to be totally honest. You can remove them and they can split into 3 different segments, and you can see that they're sculpted differently. Well, I mean, the same sculpt applies from one to the other, but you can take all of these, and one thing that's nice is all of the little posts have little holes on them. So with these little ones, you can actually plug that in there and pew pew pew, just like that. You can have these big giant ones with these guys on there, or or even these ones on there. Or you can mix and match. You can put that in there. You can put that in there. I mean, whatever, again, you really want to do. You can take these big giant guns like that. Take that out. Let's see, put that in there. I mean, the play factor is amazing. You can do all sorts of different things with these. And like I said, I like how they actually have holes in there. So the smaller ones can still be used. So you can do something like that. They don't have to have the big giant holes in the barrels, because obviously these are too small for holes. So you can just peg that in there. I think that's fantastic. In terms of features on this guy, he does have an opening cockpit. It does kind of say you have to bend this down and then open this. And then the inside section has an engine block. Pull that out. You can see, oh, you can throw it all over the place. Good detail on there, nice sculpt work and everything, but it's just an engine block. But what's cool is once you remove that engine block, then you can take, I'm going to take Spike, because why not? You can take any of the headmasters, the power masters, anything like that. You can put that in there just like so. Close that up. And now you have a pilot, which is amazing. I absolutely love that. So very cool. So taking him back out, I'm going to put this little engine block back in there. Other little details on here. You can see tremendous amount of sculpt work on this entire thing. I know it's going to be a little bit harder because it's white, and people complain that they can't see the details, but I think that it looks pretty good. A lot of it is done in a white paint, and then it's mixed with white plastic, so it gives a slightly off look. Like, for example, this is obviously all painted white. This is sculpted white. A lot of good paint throughout the entire thing. The breakup of the white, though, in terms of using molded white colors or molded white plastic and then painted white plastic, does break things up, especially like here when you look on the side, like with the legs. I don't think it's all that bad, though. I mean, it kind of blends in fairly decently, but it is noticeable when you're looking at the figure. He does have his Autobot logo there. One thing that's amazing is you can push one side, and now you have a Decepticon logo, which looks a little bit better in robot mode. I mean, obviously you can still see here. I want to say that he had it down there more in the cartoon when he was in his jet mode, but I love the fact that they put that in there. Didn't need to, but that's a nice little touch that throws back to his cartoon origins. One other little thing, he does have landing gear. The other thing, and you gotta correct me if I'm wrong, but I vaguely remember like doors being on the side here. Now, these little pieces right here actually are what you use to attach this, but it's sculpted to look like one of those doors, and you can open it. And I feel like that's a nice homage to him having side doors where people could go into. He has that on both sides, obviously, because you have to have both little pieces on detaching things to be able to attach this. And you can see like the little slots on the inside here is what those will connect to. And again, I'll show that off, but I love that little touch. Again, it works, multifaceted. And works very, very nicely. He does have landing gear. This one's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get out. They got wheels, so you can roll it. You can tuck those up and under just like that. Another thing that is terrific is that they actually included little handles here. There's a couple episodes that we saw Autobots hanging from underneath, and you can absolutely do that here. Let me see if I have a figure. The other ones haven't been transformed yet, so you can take like that, and that's amazing. I absolutely love that they put something like that in. I mean, you can have both-handed or whatever. You could have one on one side, one on the other. I love that they included it. Again, a nice throwback to some of those original cartoons, and then you can tuck those up if you don't want to have them dangling down or anything like that. And I mean, it doesn't look bad. Like these bits right here kind of stick out. The rest is a little bit blocky and discombobulated of sorts, but I'm so happy with it. I really am. I feel like they did pretty much the best that they can do with this guy. It all looks pretty good. I mean, granted, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I think they did a good job. These bits hanging out are a little bit ugly, but it does help to kind of prop them up a little bit. So I'm not too upset about it. Plus, they come in handy or come into play when you're forming his arms and everything. But all in all, really super incredible. And like I said, a big figure. I'm really impressed with this guy's size. Now, while this is a new class of figure, and obviously a larger one, the transformation on him is actually still fairly simple, but does maintain a very fun element due to several really cool things designed into him. Starting off first, we're going to come back to these little wing sections. Just take these, rotate these around, and tuck this one down like that. You can take this section and fold this around. That'll probably make this part pop out. That's another little 5mm port that you can plug a weapon into. Just tuck that up just like that. Do that on the opposite side as well. Fold that down, rotate this up, and you can see you got the little tab section that locks into the slot right there very nicely. Then take both of the wings and pop them out of the joint and rotate them all the way up and then lock them back in. So do that on both sides, just like so. Then come to the top thruster here. It's a little bit easier if you grab hold of here, these little bits that stick out, kind of lift this up and pull that away. When you do that, it'll pop the back section here from these pegs. So once you do that, slide that forward, push that down, lock that into place. Then come to the bottom section here, and I should mention that in addition to these two black handles that allow you to hold figures, you have some red ones down here. They just fold out. It's difficult to do, so I just wanted to mention them, but you do have a total of 4 of those. Kind of lift this up, just makes it a little bit easier, and then swivel this piece out, and then line this up, tab that in on the side like that. Come around here to this back section. This whole section here is on a double hinge, so you detach that and then fold that down and around, and then bring all that in and lock that into place just like that. Do that on this side as well. Lock that down, bring this around, lock that little side piece just like that. Come down to the bottom section, you got the feet, just fold that forward. This is a little bit tricky to do, but use a little fingernail, pull that out. Do that on the other side, just like so. You can see just how large this guy is getting. Come to these little side pieces. You want to detach those, lift those up like that. You can hinge them back just to create a little bit of clearance, and then take these arms and pull these out from underneath. They tab in very securely, and then you can rotate those out. You got a couple little ratchet points that you can hear pop it all the way out like so. You're going to push it back in, but that just creates some clearance. So again, detach this, rotate this out and around, kind of angling like that. Come to this entire front section. You can take this, collapse this down and around, and then you can bring this whole piece down. Keep these kind of flopping around there. And one thing that is amazing, another little added touch to the transformation, are these little trap doors on the back here that when you push this, hopefully you can see that, that's where his head goes. It goes up underneath there, and then as you bring this down, that trap door closes via some springs very nicely. I love how they did that. Really simple, but works nicely. And then you bring this up and in, kind of sits that right there. fold this around, and then collapse that down, tabbing that into place. Do that on this side, bring it towards the front, all the way down, collapse that in. And then, like I was saying, you have these little pieces right here that you now bring back in, closing in that gap. Really very, very cool. Come to these arms. Now, these arms are really cool as well. We'll get to a lot of that here in a bit. Fold this piece forward, and then this arm will be on a double accordion kind of joint. Fold that down, and then get that out of the way. Fold this up, tuck that in, bring that down and in. And then you got the little hole right here that's going to lock this in. So bring that in, give that a nice little push. Rotate that arm around, position that. Do that on this side as well. So we're going to fold this little piece out, hinge that arm out, get this, fold this back, bring that out. Oh, don't drop them. And then fold that in, bring that around, locking that into place like so. Straighten everything out, get them situated, and when you're done, boys and girls, children of all ages, there we have the one, the only Skyfire. And honestly, I'm blown away by this. This guy is incredible. Hasbro has done an amazing job in recreating this character as he appeared in the cartoon. Now, as you can see, like I was talking about, you can combine his two guns here. I love that because obviously this is a little bit more iconic of a gun that he used in the cartoon. Now, a lot of people are like, why Jetfire? Why Skyfire? In the cartoon, he was called Skyfire, but they couldn't use that name for the toy. So the toy was named Jetfire, and that toy was originally one of those Macross figures. So you can split this and really armor him up to kind of homage that Macross sort of thing. And you just have him hold that little guy, come around here to this side. You can have him hold this. Obviously, my personal preference is going to be the cartoon look for him, but you can do all sorts of different things. And that includes taking all these weapons and armoring them up. So let's give that kind of a go here. So get that little piece right here coming up. So you got a little post right there. You can take this guy, you can plug that on there. If you didn't want to do that for that section, you know, you can take this and, I mean, well, are there any other little posts? There's not really a lot of posts, so I guess we're just going to put it there. Fold that up and do that. Take that, put that guy there. So, again, you're just putting all these weapon things on him. You got these big giant cannons here. You can put them here on his forearm if you want, or you can put it down here on his legs. Now let's put it down here on the legs because I feel like everybody always puts things on his arms. So, well, let's take these and put these ones on his arms. Little tiny ones going here. There we are. Let's see. Let's get that other one. Bring that around. Port that on there. I mean, you can see you're getting him massively armored up. And then again, you can take these blasts and you can put all these in different places on him. Really making a cool look for the character. Let's see. Let's put a little tiny one on this guy. Just rotate that on there. Get this arm. There we go. Put that on that. And then put that here, because why not? You can do all sorts of crazy stuff, which is amazing. I absolutely love it. Now you do have the chest piece here. As I showed you, you have those little slots on the inside. What you do is you take these that I was bragging about being like possible door things. You open these with the fingernails that I don't really have. Ow, ow. Come on. There you go. Pull that out. There you go. And you have There we go. You have little slots now here on the chest that you just take this and you'll bring this around, line those little pieces up, and you will clip that in if you get it lined up proper. There we go. So you got that armor going for him, and then you have his face. It's more designed to look like that Macross kind of thing. One thing that's cool coming in, what you actually do is the actual head here has a bit of a spring load. I just took this off to illustrate this. This section here is spring loaded. So what you do, you just come around, take this, you got a little post there that you push that in, and that gives him his head, and really dramatically changes the overall look of the figure, which is cool. I mean, if you wanted to go with that, not so much a toy, because this really doesn't look like the G1 toy, but giving it kind of that, you know, mech feel, this really does it. This looks absolutely terrific. I love how this turned out. Now, for the comparison, geez, all these blast effects are all over. I mean, it is a really cool display piece. So, getting him to stand, let's do some comparisons. Obviously, here he is in his weaponized mode. Here is that Generations Jetfire, and you can see just how big this guy gets. Let me kind of angle things here. This guy was pretty impressive in terms of the size. This blows this away. And again, this is a leader class figure. I mean, the sheer bulk of him is dwarf. This is like old leader class stuff. But this is where things get really absolutely fun. If you go back and watch that original cartoon, Skyfire was always massive, like super huge, and I feel like the scale here works beautifully. He's about twice the size of Optimus Prime, and I think that works just about perfectly. And hey, you know what? You know, he came here, he was best friends with Starscream. Let's see how he looks with Starscream. There you go. There's Starscream. So you can see what's going on. It's amazing. It really is. And because people are going to ask, hear how he scales with Masterpiece Optimus Prime. I feel like this scale's not bad. It can work. It's a little bit off, though, I feel. I think that Optimus should be a little bit smaller. I do think that new Siege Optimus works a little bit better for scaling. But I could totally see this fitting in a Masterpiece display. Now, coming in to take a closer look, first taking a look at that head sculpt. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the detail that's put in there. You got a nice silver paint here for the face, nice blue for the crest, and then you can kind of see blue for the eyes. All of it looks really very sharp. Detail all the way throughout it. You can see it through the top section, all the way through the arms. A lot of tremendous sculpted detail in there. Hopefully you can see that. I know it kind of gets washed out. I do apologize. You do have the little chest piece right here. You can't really open it when it's like this, though, which kind of stinks, so you're stuck just having that closed. But great detail in the entire figure. The arms look terrific. You come down to the legs. Those all look great. Great molded detail in there. Nice paint. I mean, like you can see here, like this is it honestly looks like it's painted white with some paint on there. I mean, and then looking, there's a very subtle. I mean, you can kind of see it like through here. Yeah, it's probably not going to come across very well on the camera, but it's a very subtle paint wash on there. So while a lot of those other figures from the Siege line have like splotches of it throughout it, he does have it, but it's extremely subtle and it blends in very nicely. I'm just really impressed with how this figure came together. It really does just absolutely blow me away. Now, for his articulation, extremely well articulated. The head here, you can see, looks up and down. You got an extra little section right here that gives a little wiggle, and then you get a little bit more, and then it looks left and right, so lots of range of motion there. The shoulders you can hear on ratchet joints. I do have to point out, again, this is a early look at the figure, so not everything is perfect, and some of the tolerances I'm sure will be adjusted. But you do have some nice ratchets. That's pretty solid. Softer ratchets out here, but in doing so, kind of pulls that away, so just be aware of that. Kind of hold that down, but that's a little bit tight right there. Rotates at the upper part of the bicep. Basically has 2 elbows, but you're only getting a little bit more than a 90-degree bend here. So keep that in mind when you're playing around with the guy. There isn't anything at the waist. Oh my God, there is. I didn't think there was, but you get a little bit of rotation there at the waist, which is absolutely amazing. Oh, and then these, that's how you do it. So these fold out, and you can have little handles right here. So you just slide that forward. Sorry, but there, now you got it. These little pieces come out so that you can move the legs outward. It is a little bit, let's see, I mean, I wish I was a little bit tighter. It holds, as you can see, and it doesn't fall down, but you can feel a little bit of a looseness. Oh, rotation at the wrist. I gotta come back to this. Ratchets forward and back, rotates at the upper part of the thigh, bends at the knee. He has a slight, I guess because of this, you got some motion in the feet, but you do have, you have to pop this joint here, but get it, there we go. It does have ankle pivot, so I'm sure Artimus will be happy. And the thing that's nice is that very solid joint right there. I mean, that's like really stiff, so that's going to hold a pose very nicely. I don't want to overdo it because obviously it gets ugly, but you can bend it about there, so you can keep both of the feet on the ground very nicely. Now these hands are amazing. I'm just going to say it. Most amazing hands on a Transformer toy that I've seen in years. So coming in closer, obviously this guy's got a lot of 5mm ports and things like that. His hands have them as well. You can see both of them, when they're folded up like this, have that. But what is amazing, and again, I've never seen this before. If it's been on another figure, let me know. But you can open his hands, and the hands here are attached to like a ratchet that then pull, oh, you pull the whole thing out, that then pull the actual 5mm hole back and in. So now you can have open hands and you don't have that hole. Then when you close the fist again, that port comes back out. That is amazing. Again, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen that on a figure. And if I have, I don't remember it, but that is cool. Like, seriously, one of the coolest aspects about this toy. I mean, yeah, you have the swapping gimmick here, which is great. You can put a headmaster in there, which is great. You got the different display options with this, which is great. Transformation, simple, but fun to do because of things like the spring-loaded trapdoor, which is great. This, amazing. Absolutely love that. So I cannot give Hasbro enough credit for engineering something like that. If this is what we can expect with these larger size figures, I mean, and obviously because he's a commander class, they're afforded more options to throw in the guy. They threw everything into this, and I am now even more excited for Omega Supreme than I was yesterday, because this guy showed up and has blown my mind. Now let's get this guy back into his jet mode. First, collapse these hands into that fist, and then come around here, separate this, and then you can rotate the intersection out like that. And then when you have that out, you can rotate the fist back and in. Do that on this side as well. So pull that away, and then fold this out, tuck the fist back in, just like so. And then you accordion the arm all the way down and fold this piece up. Do that on this side as well. Accordion that, tuck that up, and there, and get that, make sure that's all the way in. There we go. And there you have the arms done. Come to these chest pieces. These pieces will pull away from the body. Gets a little bit tight in there. Pull that up, hinge that up. Then you can hinge that a little bit out. Again, just creating a little bit of clearance. You can take this whole section up like that. Pull this away. Well, pull these little arm bits out. And then pull this up. And again, the head will go inside there. So just bring that up there. Just like that. Fold this out like so. Tab that in. Come around to these arms. Then rotate these down and in, and then you have all this little whole section that's going to tab in. So you bring that piece down, and then you rotate that arm around, and then bring that up. Find that little hole slot, lock that into place, just like so. Do it on this side as well. So again, rotate that around, spin this around, and tab that into the back, just like that. Come around here to the front. These bits here are going to swivel down, and then they're going to hinge back. You got a little slot and tab section right here that it's difficult to see. You kind of have to look at it from the top to make sure that you get that lined in. Push that in like that, and then lock this piece right there. Get that a nice little push, locking that into place. Do that on this side as well. Bring this around, slot everything in, squeeze, and come on. There we go. Tab you in just like so. Come down to these feet, take the heel section, fold that in, and then fold the toe back. Do that on this side as well. Come around to the inside of the legs, pull that away. Make sure you lock those ankles back into place just like that. Pull this piece out. Again, you got that double hinge, so rotate that around, and then you got a little hole in round section right there. Lock that in, push that in just like so. Do that on this side. Pull that away, rotate that around, tab that down like so. Then you separate these, swivel these up, and then again, you have a little slot and tab thing here that locks this in there. Give that a nice little push, kind of feel around, lock that down. Do that on this side as well. Lock that in. Now, these legs here don't connect. You don't have to worry about that because this is going to come back and swivel into locking everything into place. So again, grab hold here, lift this up, sliding it away, and then come down, kind of swoop in on an angle, push this piece down, and then these pieces, you just lift that up and tab those thrusters into place. Come to these wings, you can lift, well, you lift these little guys up, hinge this section back, lock it into place, fold this out, bring this piece from the bottom around, and then bring this around, lock that right there. You got one wing done. Do that on this side, lock that there, bring that out, bring that down, bring that down, bring that into place. You can fiddle with the landing gear here. Like I said, these ones here are actually fairly easy. Again, if you want to bring out these little, I should show that here. You got the little holders right here. Just take these, slide that down, and you got little handles right here that somebody can hang on to, you know, or you can have it like that, whatever you want to do. You can swivel it out. Personal preference, do what you want with it, but that's how you do that. As I said, this one up here is kind of tricky to get, so I'm not going to worry too much about it, but hey, you got these little bits right here, so that kind of helps. But when you're done, there you have Jetfire back in his vehicle mode. But this guy is truly spectacular. Hasbro has done a magnificent job here of taking that cartoon look, both in terms of his vehicle mode and his robot mode, and giving us an amazing figure. Jet mode might be the weakest looking, only because of like the side bits, how it's kind of like opened up and a little bit broken looking there. But it honestly doesn't bother me that much. Could it be better? Sure. But in adding a whole bunch of things that would flush this out, I feel it would kind of take away from a robot mode that is absolutely spectacular. I mean, it's extraordinary. It nails Skyfire. And the fact that they include a whole bunch of this other stuff to kind of come together to give a little bit more of an updated Jetfire look is also really very impressive. For me, this figure is the best in this entire Siege line. I'm just that blown away with it. There really isn't much that I can look at here and wish that they did differently. So really, that's it. I can't think of anything else to say. It has kind of left me a little bit speechless. So the only thing left to say is that if this is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he will be hitting various retail locations in the next coming months. So if you're looking for him, good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, you can go to places such as Big Bad Toy Store. For that, I'll put a link down in the video description where you'll go to BBTS and you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate your support, guys, simply by having you hit that little thumbs up button. That one small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, I want to send a huge thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch the video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. Also, I want to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like to be one of those people that help out my channel, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Optibotimus. And finally, remember, grow wise, grow strong, but never grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.
You got the touch.